Hey there, I'm Dassy from partnersincrime.gfx.com, and in this video, I'll be showing you guys how to make this customizable animated outro in Blender. A lot of you guys have been asking for more tutorials, and since we've already shown you guys how to make intros and simple titles in Blender, we figured it's time to show you guys how to make an outro for your YouTube channels. So if you don't want to spend the time watching this tutorial, you can purchase the template by using the links in the description, or you can become our Patreon patron and get this template and access to basically all of our other templates, plus Patreon exclusive templates for just $1 a month, and you'll be able to have them edited for you. Purchasing the template or becoming a Patreon patron also helps to support our channel. So if you're interested in all the stuff I just mentioned, then you can check out the links in the description, and subscribe to our channel for more awesome templates and tutorials. Once you've opened Blender, you're going to want to press numpad 7, and then Ctrl-Alt numpad 0. And now we're just going to drag this up a bit, and drag the side of the screen out. I'm going to change the resolution to 100% so it renders in full resolution. I'm going to change the frame rate to 60 frames per second. And we're going to change the start to 0. I'm going to put the end at 1200. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want it to be 20 seconds, because outros are supposed to be 20 seconds. And what we're going to do now is we're going to change the placeholder. This will make it render out to a video. And we're going to change the encoding container. We'll change it to MPEG 4. And we're going to change the audio codec to MP3 so that when you put some audio in, it'll render out along with the video. So we're going to change the output now. And we're going to put the output at, we'll save it to the same folder we have our other files in for this tutorial. And we'll just name this outro tutorial result. And then you're going to press accept. So when you press render animation, animation will render to whatever you put the output to. So the next thing you're going to want to do is press X and then press delete to delete your default cube. And then we're going to right click on our lamp. And we're going to press X and then we're going to delete that. And so we're going to press in. And now we're going to put in a background image. And we're just going to add an image. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to wherever we put our tutorial files. And we're just going to open up the Helion Games image. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add mesh plane. And we're going to hold down shift. And we're going to use our middle mouse button to pan around. And we're just going to press SX. We're going to press enter. And then we're just going to drag this along the x-axis. We're just going to size this until the box fits. And then we're going to press SY. And then we're going to left click to confirm. And we're going to press SY one more time, size it up until it looks just about right. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to give this a material. We're going to make it shadeless, and then we're going to make it black. And then we're going to press Shift D. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the location of Z back by 1. And we're going to press the plus on this material icon. And we're just going to make that brighter. We're going to make that white. And we're going to press S and size that up. Now we're just going to press enter. Now we're going to press SX. And we're going to confirm that, and we're going to size that up a little bit more. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to hold down shift, and we're going to select that box. And we're going to press Shift D. Alright, so now we've got a box on the other side of the screen. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add curve circle. And we're going to fill in that circle. And we're going to give it its own material. Make it shadeless. And we're going to change the diffuse to black. And we're going to press S and size that up a bit. Now we're going to go to the curve settings and we're going to put the resolution at 75. As you can see, that gives you smoother edges. And we're just going to press Shift D. And we're just going to move this back on the Z axis. And we're going to press plus on that material. And we're just going to make it white. Now what we're going to do is we're going to size up that circle. And we're going to press enter. Alright, so now we're going to right click on our plane. And we're going to hold down shift and we're going to right click again. And we're going to press Shift D. And we're going to press S. And we're going to size that down a bit. Now we're going to press enter. Now we're just going to delete this background plane by selecting it by right clicking. And we're going to press X on that to delete it. And we're going to right click on our black plane. And we're going to press SY, size that down a bit. And now we're just going to press S, size it down just a little bit more, and then we're going to press enter. Now we're going to press Shift D. And we're just going to drag that over there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some text. So we're going to add text. And we're going to go to the text settings. And we're going to change the alignment to center. And we're also going to change the font. So if you have a font on your computer, you'll want to click this folder icon. And you want to go to wherever you saved the fonts on your computer. And the font we're going to use right now is going to be American Captain. It will be linked in the description. And we're going to open that font. And we're just going to bring it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a modifier. So we're going to add modifier simple deform. And I'm going to press bend. And we're going to put the angle at -7. And we're just going to size that up by pressing S. And then we're going to press enter. Now we're going to press tab. And you're going to erase that text and type your own custom text. We're just going to type Helion, and then we're going to press tab to confirm it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to append some materials. So we're going to press file, and we're going to press append, and then we're going to press the folder we have our file saved to, and we're going to go to that file, and we're going to append the material. So we're going to append the Helion text color. And so now we're going to make sure we have our text selected by right clicking. And we're going to choose Helion text color. And so now what we're going to do is go into render view and see how that looks. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to give this a background. And we'll get back to our text after we've made our background. And we're just going to press S. And we're going to press GZ until that background is behind everything. And we're going to press enter. And then we're going to press SX. We're going to press enter. And then we're going to press S. And then we're going to press enter. Have that sized up. And the next thing we're going to do is give our plane a new material. So we're going to press new. And we're going to change the diffuse to a hex color. And we're going to do a nice orange. A nice orangish yellow. And then we're going to change the specular color to another orangish yellow. So we're going to import image as planes. And we're just going to import the gradient. And we're going to press S. And we're going to size that up. And we're going to press GZ and push that back a bit. And we're going to press enter. And we're going to press S. And we're going to size that up. And we're going to press enter again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the texture settings and uncheck color. And we're going to give it its own diffuse color. We're going to put it at the 46500. And now we're going to go into render view and see how that looks. Now we can't see anything because we haven't appended our sun setup. So we're going to go ahead and press file and append. And we are going to append our suns. Alright, and now we're just going to move these back a bit. And we're going to type sun. This way you can see all your suns, and then change the settings if you want anything brighter or darker. And so, looks like one of our suns is a little bit too bright, and we're going to change the energy down to 1. Alright, looking much better. So what we're going to do is go back into solid view and finish up on our text. So we're just going to press X up there, and we're going to right click on our plane. And we're going to scroll down until we see the plane we have selected, and we're just going to press that I tab so that we don't see it right now. And we're going to right click on our gradient as well so that we don't see the gradient. We're going to click on the I tab. And so now we're going to focus on making our text. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to right click on that text, and we're going to press S and size that up just a bit more, and we're going to press enter. And we're going to press Shift D, and we're going to press GZ. We're just going to move that along the Z axis, and we're going to change the offset of this text, make it a little bit higher, and we're going to press the plus on this. And what we're going to do now is we're going to split the screen, so we're just going to drag that over there, and we're going to go into the node editor. So now we're just going to drag this out a bit, and we're going to scroll out on that, and we're going to change the text color to something, let's try an orange color, and we're going to go into render view and see how that looks. Gonna have to put the offset up a bit. Alright, and it's looking a little bit reddish, so what we're gonna do is we're not gonna give this one a gradient material, we're just gonna give it a regular material, and we're gonna make it shadeless, and we're gonna make it a darker orange, and we're gonna press GY, and we're gonna bring it down a bit, and we're gonna press enter. And then we're going to go back into solid view, and what we're going to do is we are going to press Shift D, but first we're going to select our front text. So we're going to press Shift D, and then we're going to press GZ and move that text back a bit. And we're going to press enter to confirm, or left click to confirm. And we're going to press X on that and give this its own material, and we're going to make it shadeless. And we're going to keep it white and make sure the intensity is all the way up. And we're just going to change the offset. And then we're going to move it back a bit more. So now what we're going to do is we're going to press Shift D on that text. We're going to press GZ and move it back. And then we're going to press the plus icon. And we're just going to make that black. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this extrude. And then we're going to change the offset. And then we're going to change the offset. And then we're going to press GZ and move that back a bit. Also going to move it up a little bit higher, and we're going to press SX to size it out a bit to the side. And we're going to press enter. And then we're going to go into render view and see how that looks. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into solid view. And we're going to press Shift D. And we're going to move this back on the Z axis. And we're going to press the plus icon here. And we're just going to make this white. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to change the bevel. And we're going to press GZ and move it back even further. And then we're going to press enter. And we're just going to drag this up. And we're going to press SX. Then we're going to drag this up on the Y axis. And we're going to press SY. And we're going to press enter. And we're just going to drag that down a bit as well. And we're going to go into render view and see how that looks. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our text for our bottom objects. For little planes here, so you can put whatever text you like here. We're just going to press add text. And then we're going to go to the text settings. And we're going to change the horizontal alignment to center. And then we're going to press S and size that down. Now the font we use for this is called Roboto. Again, you can choose any font you have on your computer. For this tutorial, we're just going to use Roboto. So we're going to go to where Roboto is stored on our computer. And we're just going to select Roboto, and we're going to open that font, and we're going to erase it, and in all caps we're going to type next, and we're going to press tab to confirm it. I'm going to press S and size that up a bit more. And now what we're going to do is Shift D. And we're going to press tab, and we're going to erase that. And we're going to type video. And we're going to press tab to confirm that. And we're going to change the offset to something a little bit lower. And we're going to go into render view and see how that looks. Alright, so we're going to go back into solid view. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hold down Shift, and we're going to right click on that other text, and we're going to press Shift D, and we're just going to drag this out here. And what we're going to do is we're going to right click on our text to select it, and we're going to type random, and then we're going to press tab to confirm. And then we're just going to drag this out, and we're going to right click. I'm going to hold down Shift and right click and just drag that out as well. And then we're going to go into render view and see how all this is looking. Alright, now we can turn on our gradient and our plane. So we can see how that's looking. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into solid view. And we're going to add empty plane axis, because we're getting ready to animate this. So we're just going to press S, and we're going to size up that empty. And we're going to use our middle mouse button to pan around. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag our empty back a little bit inside the text. And then we're going to press 0 to go back into camera view. And we're going to press S and size that up a bit, and then press enter. And what we're going to do is we're going to add another empty plane axis, and I'm going to press S to size that up. And we're just going to push it into our box a little bit. and we're going to press Shift D, and also put an empty over here on this box. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to press Shift D, and we're just going to drag that down, and we're going to press S, and we're going to press Enter, and we're going to press Shift D, and then right click so it doesn't confirm, and then we're just going to drag it over here. And now we need one more empty, so we're going to press Add Empty Plane Axis. We're going to press Add Empty Plane Axis, and we're just going to drag this up a bit. So now we're going to press S and size that up, and the next thing we're going to do is hold down Shift. We're going to make sure only our circles here are selected, and then we're going to hold down Shift on our parent, and we're going to press Ctrl P, and we're going to set the parent to the object. So now whenever you select the parent alone, it will control the object. This works very well for animation too, which is why we use these. So we're going to parent the rest of our objects to these empties, and then we're going to show you how to animate this. So we're just going to select our boxes by right clicking and holding down Shift, and then we're going to hold down Shift and press the parent, and we're going to press Ctrl P, and we're going to set the parent to the object. And so now whenever you select the parent, it moves the object, as you saw with the subscribe circle. So we're just going to do that for the rest of our objects now. We're going to hold down the text, and we're going to hold down the plane, and we're going to hold down Shift, and we're just going to select them all, and then the last thing we select is the parent, and we're going to press Ctrl P and set the parent to the object. And so now we're going to right click on our plane to select it, and we're going to hold down Shift and right click on our text, and then we're going to select our parent by holding down Shift and selecting the parent, and we're going to press Ctrl P and set the parent to the object. So now whenever you select this, everything's moving. So now we just have to parent the text objects. So we're going to select all of our text objects by right clicking and holding down Shift and selecting the text objects. Now we're going to hold down Shift and select the parent object, and we're going to press Ctrl P, and we're going to set the parent to the object. And so now all of our objects have parents, and we're ready to start animating. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to frame 0. So we're now going to go to frame 60 and start animating things. So we want to give this a size animation. So what we're going to do is make sure we have our empty selected by right clicking on our empty, and we're going to give this a scaling animation. So we're going to press I, scaling, and then we're going to go back to frame 0, and we're going to press S0, enter, and then we're going to press I, and then we're going to select scaling. And as you can see, that scales it up a bit. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select these. We're going to select the empty here, and we're going to go to frame 60, and we're going to press I, location, and we're going to select this other empty and also select I, and then select location. Now we're going to go to frame 0, and we're just going to it looks like this one isn't parented yet, so we're just going to select them, and then we're going to press Ctrl P, set the parent to the object, And we're going to select this empty, and we're going to go to frame 0, make sure we're at frame 0, and we're going to drag that out there, just outside the view of the screen. And we're also going to drag this one outside the view of the screen. So we're going to select the empties, and we're going to drag them outside view, and we're going to press I, and we're going to press location. And we're going to right click on this empty, and we're going to press I, and we're going to press location. And then we should see them animate in. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to animate these bottom text objects with a scaling animation. So we're going to go to frame 60, and we're going to press I, and we're going to press scaling. We're going to make sure our empty is selected, and we're going to press I, and we're going to press scaling. And we're going to go back to frame 0, and we're going to press S, 0, enter. I'm going to press I, scaling. Then we're going to make sure this is selected, and we're going to press S0, enter, and then we're going to press I, and then we're going to press scaling. So as you can see, it all animates in. So now we're going to animate the subscribe circle. We're going to select the empty, and we're going to go to frame 60, and we're going to press I, and we're going to press scaling. And now we're going to go to frame 0, and we're going to press S0, enter, and then we're going to press I, and then we're going to press scaling. And so now everything in our scene is animated. I'm going to turn on audio video sync so that we can see how smoothly it animates. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to group our text. So we're going to hold down shift and select all of our text objects. Hold down shift and right click all of our text objects. And then we're going to select our empty, and we're just going to group them all. We're going to name the group text object. You press Ctrl G to group them all. And we're just going to go to our group, and we're going to select all of our text objects, and we're going to press Shift D. We're just going to drag them down here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to change the text. And we're going to select this text, and we're going to press Tab. And we're going to erase it, and we're going to change it to games. We're just going to repeat the process with the rest of the text objects. And we're going to press Tab to confirm it. So now we're going to go to the material settings, and we're going to select that back white text. And we're going to bring it down a bit. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select that empty, and we're going to press GZ. Move this text back a bit, and then we're going to press enter. And then we're just going to drag that up a bit, and now we can see how that looks. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to want to animate our opening transition. So we're going to press Add Curve Bezier. And we're just going to bring this down a bit, and we're going to move it forward. And we're going to press numpad 0 to go back into camera view. And we're going to press Tab, and then we're going to press V, and then we're going to press Vector. And then we're going to press Tab again. We're just going to size this up, and then press Enter. And what we're going to do now is add curve circle. I'm going to press S and size that down a bit. And so now we're just going to select our curve. And we're going to see what this object is called, and it's called Bezier Circle 002. So we're going to put the curve to Bezier Circle 002. And we're just going to look for Bezier Circle 002. Make sure it's switching all scenes. And we're going to select it, and we're going to size it down by pressing S and then pressing Enter. And we're just going to drag it out here a bit. And what we're going to do is select our curve, and we're just going to press R, Y, 180. And now I'm going to press SY. Or rather, I'll select the Bezier circle, and I'll size up the Bezier circle by pressing S, and then I'll press Enter. And I'll select our Bezier curve again, and press SC0, and then I'm going to press Enter. And I'm going to size this up a bit, press Enter. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this its own material. And I'll make it green for a green screen. And what I'm going to do is go to frame 60. I'll go to frame 0 first. And then I will keyframe this animation. And then I'm going to go to frame 60. So that I can keyframe the reveal. And then I'm just going to press I and keyframe that. And as you can see, it keyframes out. So the next thing you're going to want to do is press Shift D. And we're just going to move this back on the Z axis. And we're going to press the plus icon here. And we're going to change this to any color you'd like to change it to. We're just going to change it to white. And then if you want more transition colors, you can press Shift D. And you can change the location, push it back a bit. And then press the plus icon here. And give it another color. Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to do is save this file. And we'll name it Outro Tutorial Result File. And we're just going to save it to the same folder that we have our tutorial files in. And we're going to press Save as Blender File. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some music. And so the song that we use is called Sam Light in my mind. So we're just going to drag that to the video sequence editor. And we're going to scroll out on that. And what you're going to want to do is press that plus icon. And we're going to change this to -3167. Alright, and so the last thing we're going to do now is we're going to append our particle setup. So we're just going to go to the file we have, and we're going to select Helium Particle Setup, and we're just going to pin that from the library. And we're going to go into Render View and see how that looks. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do is, I think that our last sun is a little bit too bright. I'm not quite sure if we need it, so I'm going to select it and I'm going to delete it. And if you want a little bit more brightness in your scene, you can keep that sun. You can press Ctrl Z to undo that delete. And you can just turn the energy down to something like 0.3. And we're going to go into Solid View, and we're just going to right click on this particle here. And hold down Shift and right click on this particle as well. And we're just going to drag that out of the view of our screen. And alright, so now what you're going to want to do is press Render Animation, and your animation will render to whatever you've set the output to.